All right, we're going to get started with the agenda portion of the meeting. Number one, ordinance on second reading. Number one, ordinance to amend and supplement and revise general ordinances, Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic, Chapter 10, 10-16, Stopping and Standing, Parking, Section 10-16, Schedule 24, New Street, reference New Street, no parking at any time, reference to New Street. Two, an ordinance to amend and supplement and revise general ordinance of the City of New Brunswick, Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic, Chapter 10-12, Traffic Control Regulations, Sections 10-12 and 10-12-070, Schedule 8B, Loading Zones, and Chapter 10-16, Stopping and Standing, or Parking, Section 10-16050, Schedule 29, Time Limit, Parking, reference to New Street. Then we got items on first reading. Number one, bond of finance for providing for the funding of various park improvements by the City of New Brunswick and the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, appropriating $371,000, therefore authorizing the issuance not to exceed $353,000. Bonds and notes to finance part of the cost thereof. Two, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinance of the City of New Brunswick, Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic, Stopping and Standing or Parking, Section 10-16, -210, Schedule 38, Time Limit Parking Areas, reference to Lewis Street. Three, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinance of the City of New Brunswick, Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic, Stopping and Standing and Parking, Section 10-16, Schedule 38, Time Limit Parking Areas, reference to Central Avenue. Four, an ordinance to supplement ordinance of the City of New Brunswick and the County of Middlesex of the State of New Jersey, approving the application for long-term tax exemption for authorizing the City of New Brunswick to enter into a financial agreement with the Standard at the New Brunswick Urban Renewal LLC and granting a tax exemption. Reference to 90 New Street, Block 129, Lot 5.01. Five, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinance of the City of New Brunswick, Title 5, Business Licenses Regulations, Chapter 5.80, Rent Control, add new section 5.80.095, require landlords to provide for written receipts for rents and other payments paid in cash or by money order. All right, then we go to resolutions. One, approve agenda amendments. Two, approve payroll. Three, authorize refund for redeemed tax sales certificates. Four, approve transfer appropriation reserves for 2017 municipal budget. Five, approve emergency temporary appropriation for 2018. Six, approve payment for emergency procurement of the water utility, repair of a water main break and road repair on George Street with John Garcia Construction Company Incorporated, not to exceed $31,949. Purchase order number E140-14. Seven, approve payment for emergency procurement of the water utility for repair of a water main break and road repair on George Street with B&W Construction of New Jersey, not to exceed $27,071.26. Purchase order number E140-15. 8, approve authorization of rebid requested by the water utility for maintenance and support services for MEMCOR membrane filtration system. Rebid specification number 660-18 RFP. 9, approve amendment of resolution R-121-713. Reason for the additional amount of $3,831 to pay 2017 invoices with, for the Public Works Department with Atlantic Salt Incorporated for treated rock salt for Public Works and Water Utility Departments, not to exceed $3,831. Approval of this change order will not constitute an increase of 20% or more of the amount of the original contract. 10, approve amendment of resolution R-121-743. Reason for the additional amount of $3,461 to pay 2017 invoices for the water utility with Stavola Asphalt Company Incorporated for furnish and deliver bituminous materials for rebid specification number 566-16 PR, not to exceed $3,461.40. Approval of this change order will not constitute an increase of 20% or more of the amount of the original contract. 4, approve amendment of resolution R-011-01865, reason to pay additional legal fees in the amount of $2,075 to Christopher D. Adams Esquire and Adams Buchanan and Payload LLC for representation of Tom Laughlin, III, City Administrator, in the matter of Arthur Anderson et al. For City of New Brunswick on punitive damages claims from $41,733.47 to $43,808.47. 12, approve renewal contract for Dial-A-Ride program with the State of New Jersey Department of Human Services, term January 1st, 2018 to December 31st, 2018. Amount $56,315. 13, approve off-premise raffle merchandise at 75 Morris Street, New Brunswick for Our Lady of Mount Carmel Church. Date Sunday, June 24th, 2018. 14, approve awarded contract with CI Technologies Incorporated for annual maintenance contract for proprietary software for the police department. Term 12-month period commencing February 1st, 2018, ending January 31st, 2019. Not to exceed $1,144.44 non-pro tunc. 15, approve amendment of resolution R-011745. Reason, additional amount of $5,294 to pay 2017 invoices for the water utility with Mox McDonald Group, doing business as Mox McDonald LLC for the 2017 engineering support services for the water utility, not to exceed $5,294.99. 16, approve on-premise raffle merchandise at the Helgers Hotel for 10 Livingston Avenue, New Brunswick for Rutgers University Foundation. Date Saturday, April 7, 2018. 17, approve amendment of resolution R-081712. Reason, additional amount of $10,000 with DGL Rapolis Incorporated, doing business as Mako Collision Repair and Auto Detailing for automotive body repairs for the police department. Specification number 60617P, not to exceed $10,000. Approval of this change order will constitute an increase of 20% or more of the original contract. 18, approve awarded contract for Gibraltar Transmissions for transmission repair services for the police department. Term 12-month period commencing March 3rd, 2018, ending March 2nd, 2019. Specification number 659-18P, not to exceed $15,000. 19, approve request for street closing requested by the State Theater. Location, Livingston Avenue between New and George Streets for the annual Family Day. Date, Monday, February 19th, 2018. Time, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Non-pro tunc police section duty. 20, approve amendment of resolution. Reason to pay additional legal fees in the amount of $1,110 to Benedict and Altman for Police Director Anthony Caputo in the matter of Victor Rodriguez versus the City of New Brunswick from $31,909 to $33,019. 21, approve request for use of city property requested by the Lighthouse Christian Fellowship, location War Monument for preaching and passing out literature. Date, Saturdays through February up until December, Saturdays through December. Time, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. 22, approve request for use of city sidewalk requested by Dr. Michael Rushneck. Location, Church Street and George Street, across Albany Street, Eastern Avenue, Indiana, Bugler Park for peaceful march to support the DACA program. Dates, February 24th, 2018, rain date, Saturday, March 3rd, 2018, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. 23, approve request for use of city property requested by Lincoln Elementary School, Board of Education for Bugler Park Pavilion Fields, Swings, Lawns, Lincoln Elementary School Day. Thursday, June 14, 2018, from 7:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. Rain date, Tuesday, June 19, 2018, from 7:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. 24, approve off-premise raffle 50/50 at 222 Livingston Avenue, NH Memorial Temple, date Tuesday, May 1st, 2018. 25, authorize the tax collector to transfer several tax and utility overpayments. 26, authorized purchase by Police Department of the State Contract A-813-348 T-106 Police and Homeland Security Equipment and Supplies from Lanigan Associates Incorporated. 14, bulletproof vest for the Police Department, not to exceed $10,587. 27, approve relaxation of the city noise ordinance and road closure requested by M. Quick Crane for reason to place a crane on Little Albany Street in order to perform a crane pick at Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital emergency room interest area. Date, Saturday, February 24th, 2018. Alternate date, Saturday, March 3rd, 2018. Time, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. 28, approve amendment of resolution R-011877. Reason to revise the Okay, 28, thank you. Approve relaxation of city noise ordinance requested by Sutter Crane Rental. Reason to place a crane at Rutgers Busting Building at 33 Livingston Avenue to load a mechanical penthouse on the roof. Date, Sunday, March 4th, 2018. Alternate date, Sundays, March 11th and 18th, 2018. Time, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. All right, 29, approve awarded contract Ford Runs contract with Roller Retreads Incorporated, repair and retread truck tires for public works and fire department. Term 12-month period commencing February 22nd, 2018 and ending February 21st, 2019. Specification number 65717P, not to exceed $39,760. 30, approve awarded contract for South and Associates for proprietary contract for consulting services for the police department. Term 12-month period commencing July 1st, 2017 and ending June 30th, 2018, not to exceed $7,680, non-pro tunc. 31, approve amendment of resolution R-111758, change order with J.P. Smith Contractors Incorporated for New Brunswick Water Treatment Plant, the neutralization tank coating, specification 61117W, amount of $21,296. Approval of this change order will not constitute an increase of 20% or more of the original contract. 32, release of site performance bond in the amount of $608,160 and the balance of site inspection fees. The College Avenue Redevelopment Associates LLC for lot number 8, College Avenue, block number 54, lot number 1-101. 33, resolution to accept the bid on sale or surplus of New Brunswick city property, location 938 Somerset Street, block number 554, lot number 6-01, amount of $75,000. 34, approve renewal contract with National Vision Administrators for vision plan for city employees, term January 1st, 2018 to December 31st, 2018. 35, approve person-to-person transfer of liquor license from Nico Corporation to Salt, Seafood, and Oyster Bar, limited liability. To Salt Seafood Oyster Bar, 103 Church Street, liquor license number 1214-33-041009. All right, 36. Authorize extension of contract with the Wellness Coaches USA for health and injury prevention services to the City of New Brunswick employees. Term 8 months. Period commencing November 1st, 2017 and ending June 30th, 2018. Not to exceed $23,000, non-pro tunc. 37, approve amendment of resolution R-081725, change order number 1, credit with DeSantis Construction Incorporated for Ruckers Village Area Asphalt and Curbs Phase 2. Specification number 91017, credit amount $15,325.59. Approval of this change order will not constitute an increase of 20% or more of the original contract. 38, approve request for a use of city sidewalk. Requested by Roberto Solano, location Lee Avenue sidewalk from Lawton Street to Juliet Street for spring cleaning of sidewalks, curbs, and gathering afterwards with music at 150 Baldwin Street parking lot. Saturday, March 3rd and March 10th. Rain dates, April 7th and April 14th. Time, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. 39, advising consent to the appointment of Melanie Ford as Director of Social Services. We have items for discussion by council, so on and so forth. Got nothing else? All right. Meeting will now come to order, but the clerk do us the honor of calling the roll.
Council Vice President Anderson.
Here.
Councilmember Egan.
Here.
Councilmember Escobar.
Here.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig.
Here.
Council President Fleming.
Here. Please be advised that the notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act have been complied with and satisfied the animal notice, which gave sufficient notice of the time and place and conduct of all public meetings. That the municipal clerk of the City of New Brunswick has been filed with the city clerk, has been placed on the appropriate bulletin board in the lobby of City Hall, New Brunswick, New Jersey, and has been transmitted to the official newspaper of the City of New Brunswick, namely the Home News Tribune. Can we please stand for the pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we all please remain standing for a moment of silence for those that lost their lives, especially in the tragedy in Florida, and even those that lose their lives across this country every day through senseless violence, and those that are defending freedom around the world, and those that continue to defend freedom. Thank you.
Second. Council Vice President Anderson.
Abstain.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council President Fleming.
Yes. All right, we approved the minutes, and we got reports of the correspondence from the city clerk. Do we have anything?
Yes. Okay. a preliminary equalization table from the County of Middlesex for the year 2018. A letter from Langen Engineering and Environmental Services to release a site performance bond. A letter from Bristol Myers Squibb regarding analytical results for vapor intrusion sampling activities conducted at 120 Georges Road. A letter from Faith Fellowship Community Development Corporation regarding programs and services for anyone in need of housing and/or financial counseling assistance. A letter from Ropes Associates regarding the completion of a preliminary assessment and site investigation. The correspondence will be forwarded to the appropriate departments for further action.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, we have no public hearings, so we'll go to ordinance on second reading. Number one, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinance of the City of New Brunswick, Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic, Chapter 10-16, Stopping and Standing, or Parking, Section 10-16, 020, Schedule 24, no parking at any time. Would anybody from the public like to speak on this ordinance? Seeing none?
Move the ordinance.
Second. Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council President Fleming.
Yes. We have two, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinance of the City of New Brunswick, Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic, Chapter 10-12, Traffic Control, Regulations, Section 10-12-060 and 10-12-070, Schedule 8B, Loading Zones, and Chapter 10-16, Stopping and Standing or Parking, Section 10-16-050, Schedule 29, Time Limit Parking, reference to New Street. Would anybody from the public like to comment on this? Seeing none.
Move the ordinance.
Second.
Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council President Fleming.
Yes. Okay, now we have ordinances on first reading. We have ordinance number one, ordinance providing for the funding of various park improvements by and in the City of New Brunswick, in the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, appropriating $371,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance not to exceed $353,000 bonds or notes to the finance part or the cost thereof.
Move the ordinance setting down March 7th at 6:30 p.m., same date to be advertised.
Second.
Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council President Fleming.
Yes. And we have two, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinance of the City of New Brunswick, Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic, Stopping, Standing, and Parking, Section 10-16-210, Schedule 38, Time Limit Parking Areas, reference to Lewis Street.
Move the ordinance setting down March 7th at 6:30 p.m., same date to be advertised.
Second.
Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council President Fleming.
Yes. We have three, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinance of the City of New Brunswick, Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic, Stopping and Standing, or Parking, Section 10-16-210, Schedule 38, Time Limit Parking Areas, reference to Central Avenue.
Move the ordinance setting down March 7th at 6:30 p.m., same date to be advertised.
Second.
Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council President Fleming.
Yes. Four, an ordinance of the City of New Brunswick and the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey approving the application for a long-term tax exemption and authorizing the City of New Brunswick to enter into a financial agreement with the standard at New Brunswick Urban Renewal LLC and granted the tax exemption reference to 90 New Street, Block 129, Lot number 5-01.
Move the ordinance setting down March 7th at 6:30 p.m., same date to be advertised.
Second.
Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council President Fleming.
Yes. Okay, then we have five, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinance of the City of New Brunswick, Title 5, Business Licenses and Regulations, Chapter 5-880, Rent Control. Add new section 5-80095. Require landlords to provide for written receipts for rents and other payments paid in cash or by money order.
Move the ordinance setting down March 7th at 6:30 PM, same date to be advertised.
Second.
Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Egan. Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council President Fleming.
Yes. Okay, now we have resolutions, number 1 through 39. Would anybody from the public like to speak on these, please remember to state your name and address, and please remember that you have 5 minutes.
Good evening, members of the council. Charles Prattville. I'm from New Brunswick. I'm the editor of New Brunswick Today, community newspaper here. I want to start by thanking all the city employees for their hard work and dedication, especially some of the ones who I saw out here on these water main break repairs on George Street in the dead of winter. It's a very challenging task that they had, and I appreciate their work. I do want to ask about Resolution 856 is rebidding the maintenance and support services for the membrane system. Just if I could get a little insight maybe from the water director about why there were no bids submitted and whether they're confident they'll get bids this time.
Thank you. It's rare that you find me tongue-tied, but in this case, I can't explain why there was no bids that came in. We traditionally, this is an annual contract that we do, and lo and behold, they did not get it in the mail in time for us to open it, so we're just asking permission to cancel this and then rebid and give it another shot. So we're on schedule as far as maintenance goes. We have like 3 months before we're ready for that.
And correct me if I'm wrong, the city's used the same firm for this for many years in a row, right?
Yes, we have.
And what's the name of the firm?
I believe that would be Envirolutions. Evoqua.
Okay, so.
It's one of the two. It starts with it.
Thank you, sir. 868 are legal fees for the police director who's not here. Can I get an update on this case, Victor Rodriguez versus the city of New Brunswick? Is this still in discovery?
Shannon?
Yes, still in discovery. It's been in discovery a while. I understand you're taking depositions, things of that nature.
Understood. Can you tell me the rate that Benedict and Altman is charging the taxpayers for representing the police director?
I'm not going to be able to quote off the top of my head, but it is a very low rate. I want to say, neighborhood 185. Is it 185? Mr. Egan may remember, you saw the bill. I looked at a lot of bills. 185, I'll go with Mr. Egan.
Okay. I think the march to support the DACA program is a great thing, and I hope the council approves their request to use the sidewalks. Does the council have a position on that issue as we move forward?
The march on the sidewalk?
No, on the issue of the DACA program and whether or not it should be extended, renewed, restored.
Well, yeah, yes. I mean, it shouldn't be at the point that it's at right now, where it's political wrangling.
It should be. Shouldn't be a discussion.
I agree. I thought it was a good program. I don't understand why you want to move us backwards, but I'm glad the council is with me on that. 878 South and Associates contract to do consulting services for the police department. Can I get a little information about what kind of consulting they're doing and why this is being approved nunc-pro-tunc?
South Associates is our company we use in the past for training, usually in-service training. I believe this was, this bill exactly was for the collaborative that the police department did with the high school for the training we're doing there.
Thank you. I see the developer of the College Avenue redevelopment project is going to get $680,000 back, and I just wanted to follow up on one of the issues with that was that they paid the city, this is 880, the developer paid the city a fee of $500,000 in lieu of constructing repeaters on those 3 buildings they built. That'd be the yard, the Honors College, and the academic building. And I just want to understand if the city's done anything to pursue a system that doesn't require those repeaters, which was the stated purpose of the $500,000 being paid to the city.
I would look to Director Rawls to speak on that if he is here. I don't know if he is. But if he's not, I can certainly try to get an answer from Mr. Crandall. I know that the fire department was in communication with the county about joining their system or developing something independent of that. And honestly, I don't know exactly where they are at the moment, but I will endeavor to get you an answer.
Thank you very much. The very next resolution is the sale of that surplus property on Somerset Street. I was unfortunately unable to make it to the auction. Can you tell me were there any other bids besides the winning bidder, or was that the only bid?
Council President, members of council, there was one bidder who bid the minimum bid. As I think I indicated in the past, there was some interest by other parties. Perhaps when they saw our minimum bid, they decided not to show up, but there was one bidder, and that was the minimum bid.
Does the city have any idea what the new owner plans to do with it if this is approved tonight?
I think it's the extension of the current use next door, which is the used car business. I think they want to expand that.
Thank you very much. 883 is transfer of the liquor license. Can you tell me, does this mean that Panaco's is changing owners, or is it changing names also, or moving? Both. Oh, really? So it's going to be called the Salt Seafood and Oyster Bar.
There's no longer Panaco's or Canicos, as I call it, at that location. Just the one across the street. This is a sale, person to person.
Okay. Can you tell me the price of the license?
$350,000.
Thank you. And the last resolution is the very last resolution on here. I just want to congratulate Ms. Ford on her promotion to be Director of Social Services and wish her well in the new position, and also thank Mr. Blevins. I already spoke to her, but just for the record, want to wish her well and also thank Mr. Blevins for his many years of service.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else on the resolution? Seeing none?
Move the resolution.
Second.
Council Vice President Anderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Egan,
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar,
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig,
Yes.
Council President Fleming.
Yes. All right, we're gonna, before we move into public comments, I just want to say, like, over the last week, and this affects me on a number of bases. We had a tragedy in Florida where a gunman went into the school and killed 17 people and injured several others. And I know there's been a lot of discussion in schools about school safety. The reason why it affects me is, first of all, I have two kids, two sons in schools, in public schools. I worry about their safety like that because no parent should ever have to worry about when you send your kids to school whether or not they're going to come home or not. And I know people, that's the last thing you worry about. You might worry about them getting detention or getting a call home. The worst thing that you can get is a text saying that something happened to one of your kids or anything like that. Second part is I work in school. This is my 22nd year in education. And I know that several of us in the education field, there's been a lot of talk around how do we secure schools and stuff like that. And a lot of times, I mean, to be honest, a lot of people have run stuff through, and it's just been in theory. Unless you are in the school every single day, it's easy to speculate on what can be done to keep people safe. You know, and I tell people that all the time. I'm like, I wouldn't go into somebody else's job and tell them what you can do to secure your job. And a lot of times people are now, unfortunately what's going on now is people are starting to use this as a political football where they're telling people, okay, let's do this, but we can't do this. We can't secure the schools, we can't get rid of these guns because of lobbying firms and stuff like that. Then the other ones are saying, well, we can't really predict when people have mental health issues. What I'd say is it's a full-pronged approach, and we are having a community discussion February 2nd. I'm trying to look for it. I look for it before the end. March. Yeah, March 2nd at 7 p.m. At 7 p.m. we'll have everything advertised, everything we put out, but anybody that has any concerns or any concerns or any ideas that they want to bring to the table, what it's not going to become is a blame game back and forth, because what it's going to take is a public dialogue, and to lead people to concerns and things like that. I have everything out, I have the full information out momentarily before the end of this meeting. Anybody else for discussion by council?
I just wanted to, on Sunday, there's an activity in the city, it's called Our Common Thread, and it's a performance and event that is sponsored by Collapse and other organizations in the city to bring awareness about the homelessness in the city of New Brunswick. So it's going to be at 200 Somerset Street. That's the Hungarian American Foundation, and it's $10, and the $10 donation is to be used for the interfaith rotating shelter. And they're looking to it, it's an event that they're going to have music, they're going to have some poetry, I believe. There's going to be a panel with some churches and personnel from the city also talking about the services that are provided in the city for the homeless. And it will be a good opportunity to learn what we are doing, and also to bring some awareness about the rotating shelter and the help that they need for volunteers that are usually needed to man the nights when they have in different churches in the city. So again, it's on Sunday at 7 p.m. at the Hungarian American Foundation, 300 Somerset Street.
I apologize. It's this Tuesday, coming up, February 27th. So, it's this Tuesday. I'm already in March. I'm on this spring.
Also, on March 2nd, it's the Read Across America Day. It's Dr. Seuss Day. Many of us will go to the schools and read to the children. Some people from the outside, doctors all around the city of New Brunswick. But I encourage everybody else to read to your children, other children, for that day of March 2nd.
Is that it?
Yes. If I could, Melanie Ford has been an outstanding employee for us for 21 years. She's a graduate of New Brunswick High School and Brown University. She once worked in my office. She's done a wonderful job at the New Brunswick Senior Center, and she is most deserving of the appointment the mayor has put before you.
All right. Anybody else? Okay, we'll now hear from the public. Please remember that you have 5 minutes. And please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Council President. My name is Junior Romero with Food and Water Wash. We're a New Jersey Environmental Group here on 100 Bear Street, down the street. Purchase Council, this is my third time. We are talking about our All Fossil Fuels campaign here in New Jersey. Actually I have some materials later. So last time I spoke about the resolution that the U.S. Conference of Mayors passed at their 2017 meeting. It's a national bipartisan group of mayors from all across the country, Republican, Democrat, maybe there's some independents in there, calling to get their own towns to 100% renewable energy ASAP. They have a target date of 100% renewables by 2035, which is what scientific consensus states we must reach or get our acts together as a country and as a planet to avert a climate tipping point or climate chaos. We're already seeing the tundra in Alaska and in Russia, and the Russian permafrost melting. We're seeing methane escaping from what once was frozen solid ground for tens of thousands of years. Even viruses are coming out, viruses that predate tens of thousands of years ago, pre-Ice Age era, are coming back into our own lives today. All this is because of climate change, human-caused climate change. Even today we have such weird weather. Luckily we're not being attacked by the hurricanes that we saw last year that killed many people, but New Jersey has already seen devastating storms like Irma and the others. We're calling. We have a state legislative bill S1405 A1823 that mimics the U.S. Conference of Mayors goal, 100% renewables by 2035. What we're asking town councils, that Princeton, Franklin Township, Highland Park, and New Brunswick's Environmental Commission just yesterday passed the resolution that y'all have there with you, is urging towns to pass an off fossil fuels resolution, urging not only their own towns, but the state of New Jersey to get off fossil fuels and onto 100% renewable energy. We understand that, you know, there's budgetary things to consider and all that. All we're asking is for a resolution, a show of support, that we want the state of New Jersey to do everything as possible. We want state legislators to do everything as possible to make sure that we avert climate tipping point. And I'd be happy to work with the council in passing any questions you have about the resolutions that we're urging towns to pass. Over 60 elected officials have already pledged their support, individual elected officials, including 2 that we have here on council, and mayors, school board members, state senators, state assembly members. The highest ranking one, Senator Loretta Weinberg, the majority leader. Bonnie Watson Coleman, Congresswoman Coleman, is a co-sponsor to the Federal Off Fossil Fuels Act, which mimics the same goal, 100% renewables by 2035. So I'd just like to urge the council to pass a resolution. We very much appreciate it. And there's also an event on the back, February 28th, 7 p.m., Cook Student Center. We're talking about why we support this very ambitious, progressive goal that we could reach here in New Jersey. Perhaps not at the federal level, but here in New Jersey, we have a great opportunity with a progressive governor and a progressive legislature. And we hope a progressive council, forward-looking council that wants to do everything possible to fight climate change, not only for this generation, for the next generation, but the next generations to come. So I hope you'll join us. We will be recognizing all elected officials that come and join us. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Buenas noches,
Good evening.
mi nombre es Cristina Paredes,
My name is Cristina Paredes.
vivo en la 1203 Seaman Street.
I live in 213 Seaman Street.
Gracias por escucharnos.
Thank you for listening.
Pertenezco al proyecto al Centro Comunitario United Square.
I'm part of Unity Square.
Bueno, lo que vengo a presentarles es en favor de los recibos de renta para las personas para los inquilinos.
I come here tonight to speak about the importance of rent receipts for renters.
En United Square se presentaron 79 casos relacionados con viviendas en el año 2017.
Unity Square dealt with 79 housing-related issues in the year of 2017.
De estos 79 casos fueron significativos los recibos de renta.
Out of those 79 cases, 33% of them saw some significance with rent receipts.
En estos 33% tenían recibos y su prioridad fueron resueltos los casos.
From those 33%, most of them had rent receipts, and because of the rent receipts, their cases were able to be solved.
Una parte del 83% los casos no se pudieron resolver debido a que no tuvieron recibos.
For a large majority of the 33%, the cases could not have been solved because they were in no rent receipts.
24% tuvieron recibos y sus casos fueron resueltos.
Only 24% of the cases received rent receipts in 2017.
Bueno, menciono algunos problemas en los que se ayudaron.
I would like to mention some of the categories where rent receipts were helpful.
Renta sin pagar,
Unpaid rent,
estándar de recibos rechazados,
denial of standard of service,
incrementos ilegales de renta,
illegal rent increase,
problemas con el depósito de seguro,
issues relating to security deposit,
casas de ejecución hipotecaria,
foreclosure homes,
nuevos dueños de casa.
new landlords.
Bueno, espero que, como sabemos que el Consejo siempre escucha nuestras recomendaciones,
Since we know that council always listens to our recommendations,
venimos representando a vecinos que tal vez no quieren llegar ante el Consejo por miedo o por a veces
no tener información.
We're coming here representing those who have been affected by these services that do not want to speak because of fear or because of other issues.
Y esperemos que nos puedan ayudar para que tanto los dueños de casa y los inquilinos sean los beneficiados.
We hope that you can help us so that both renters and landlords can benefit from this.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Do you guys, hold on, we couldn't discuss it tonight on first reading, but you know, we have, you see, we have one in here on first reading that we consider. Okay.
Gracias.
Yes, thank you.
Hola, buenas noches. Mi nombre es Sara y vivo acá en Brunswick, en Lee Avenue. Yo vengo también a pedirles que nos ayuden con la resolución, porque yo conozco un caso que pasó en mi familia que
Good evening. My name is Sarah. I live here in New Brunswick on Lee Street, Lee Avenue, and I'm here to speak about the rent receipt issue, and I have a personal experience to share.
¿Por qué es tan importante que los dueños de casa nos den recibos de renta? Porque muchos acá o en donde quiera pagamos en efectivo. Y cuando pagamos en efectivo a veces no tenemos ningún comprobante que pagamos la renta.
And it's very important for a lot of people here in New Brunswick that we have rent receipts because so many people are paying their rent in cash. And when you pay in cash, absent receipts, there's no way to prove, to demonstrate that you've made that payment.
Y sin en cambio, si ellos nos dan un recibo, ya va con su firma y la fecha. Eso nos ayuda bastante para comprobar.
On the other hand, if we did get receipts and the receipts had the landlord's signature and the date, that would help us a great deal.
En el caso de mi familia pasó que el dueño de la casa le había recogido el banco la casa.
It happened that for my own family, the place where that they were living, the bank foreclosed on the home.
Entonces, el que era dueño de la casa iba a recoger la renta.
But the prior owner of the home kept coming by to collect the rent.
Pero la persona siempre le pedía recibos de renta y se los daba.
But my family member knew to always ask for rent receipts and did manage to get rent receipts from the previous owner.
Entonces, en la casa llegó una carta del banco diciendo que no estábamos pagando la renta.
Well, then the new owner, being the bank, sent a letter saying, well, why aren't you paying us the rent?
Entonces nos dimos cuenta de eso y buscamos ayuda. Empezamos a buscar todos los recibos de renta que teníamos guardados.
So learning that the house in fact had been sold, which we didn't realize, we then went back and looked for all of the rent receipts that we had filed away to get ready to ask for help.
Y gracias a esos recibos no nos hicieron pagar todo ese dinero que nos estaban cobrando.
And thanks to the fact that we did have the receipts, the bank did not charge us all of the back rent that they had originally felt that they were owed.
Entonces ellos dijeron que iban a buscar a esa persona y que iban a arreglar el problema con la persona porque se estaba robando el dinero.
They said instead they would take that as evidence and use it to find the previous owner who had been charging us despite having lost the title, and that they would arrange, work things out with the previous owner.
Pero muchísimas gracias por escucharnos y espero que sea posible con esto de la resolución que nos ayuden para que no sigan pasando a otros casos, porque este caso de mi familia, gracias a Dios, fue resuelto, pero en otras ocasiones con otras familias no es así.
And that's why we thank you so much for paying attention to this issue, because thankfully, in my own case, we were able to resolve the problem because we had receipts. But a lot of other people don't have the receipts, and that for them, things don't end as well as they did for us. So we thank you for your attention.
Gracias.
Hello, my name is Rosa. I want to talk based on experience of my family regarding the receipts as well. So since 2007, our family has lived in a house on Commercial Avenue. Last year, the landlord informed us that he plans to stop making payments on the house. Then an eviction letter arrived from the court, but thankfully the letter was not addressed to us. Instead, it was addressed to the former landlord. I came to Unit Square and then to my roommate Cody from the rent control office to see if they could help. And the first thing they asked was if we had a lease and rent receipts as proof of payment. And in fact, yes, we did have a lease that said what our monthly payment would be, and we have receipts as well. And when we went to court on the date in the letter, they told us that the case was dismissed. The city told us to open an account where we could make our monthly rental deposits, and we sent the bank statements to the court. We thankfully had proof of payments from our receipts, but if we had not had them, what would have happened? So many families have been evicted into the cold weather because they did not have receipts. Thank you.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Arturo Olmedo, yo estoy aquí apoyando a la comunidad, yo soy dueño de casa y mi casa está ubicada en 56 de la Harvey Street, en Brunswick.
Good evening, my name is Arturo Almeida, and I am here also to support the rent receipt suggestion, and I live at 56 Harvey Street.
Mi opinión es que cuando el dueño de casa da recibo, el que renta cuenta con una prueba que dice que está cumpliendo con el acuerdo que se hizo y que por lo tanto cualquier problema que surja, él tiene una garantía, y al igual que el dueño al dar el recibo.
And in my opinion, the rent receipts are important because they give proof of the mutual commitments that are being made and the mutual responsibilities between the landlord and the tenant. And they protect all parties involved, as much the landlord as the tenant.
Y por eso les pido que, si es posible, ayuden a que la ley pase para que todos los dueños de casa estén cumpliendo con una de las reglas primordiales de la comunidad, que es dar recibo, ya que es la ayuda para uno como dueño y la ayuda para los que rentan.
And that's why I'm asking for your support with the rent receipts ordinance, because having receipts or rather giving receipts is a basic duty of landlords, a basic obligation to do the right thing so far as the tenants are concerned.
Muchas gracias, que tengan buena tarde.
Oh, you got
¿Lo recibo?
lo recibo?
Sí, no.
Okay. But Arturo himself is a landlord, and he has the receipts that he gives, and he just wanted to show that.
Un momento.
Ya voy a...
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Ricardo García, vivo en la Baldwin Street. Simplemente quiero agradecerles el hecho de que hayan tomado en cuenta la petición que le hicimos la vez pasada, y creo que un recibo tan sencillo como este puede ayudar a muchos vecinos a no tener muchos problemas.
Good evening, my name is Ricardo Garcia. I'd like to thank you very much again for your attention to this issue. Something as simple as a little receipt like this could help a lot of people avoid a lot of problems.
Y bueno, darles las gracias por haber tomado su tiempo en dar un paso más para la comunidad de New Brunswick.
Thank you so much again for taking this important step for the New Brunswick community.
Gracias.
Okay, oh, sorry, Arturo has.
Aquí, como ustedes pueden ver, aquí tengo los recibos de las dos últimas personas a quien yo les he rentado. Están los recibos y esta es la prueba de que yo como dueño estoy tratando de hacer las cosas conforme a la ley, y es por eso que estoy aquí apoyando a la comunidad. Gracias.
Here are just a few examples of the receipts that he's been giving out to his tenants, demonstrating that he as a landlord is trying to do the right thing. Thank you so much.
Good evening once again, Charles Prattville, New Brunswick today. I'd like to have a number of issues to address, but first want to start by saying I stand wholeheartedly with the folks at Unity Square. We need to pass this ordinance. I think it's a good thing. I'm glad you've adopted it on the first reading tonight. I also want to say I'm a big supporter of Food and Water Watch and support their campaign to get our country off of fossil fuels. So, however, on the evening that they've invited you to an event, I hope you'll instead attend the New Brunswick Housing Authority meeting, but I'll get to that in a minute. First, I would like to ask about a big issue. There's on the topic of demonstrations, there's a demonstration on Friday supporting the minimum wage being raised to $15 an hour. I wanted to ask the council if you have a position on that.
I believe it should be raised, personally.
I believe it should be raised in increments, and I believe that we shouldn't just stop people at minimum wage, that we should push people so they can go above that. Because I don't believe that, like I teach my kids in economics, minimum wage shouldn't be your ceiling, that should be the floor when you start off at. So I think we try to push so many people towards that, we don't see the other, we don't get to see the big picture.
Can I hear from the other council members about $15 minimum wage?
Yeah, I think it should be done in increments and everything like that, but I think people have to understand, some of these part-time jobs should not take care of their whole family with that.
For the minimum wage. Yes, increase.
Great, I support raising it as well. Can you tell me, are there city employees that make less than $15 an hour currently?
Yes, part-time.
Okay.
Anyone full-time would, the minimum salary full-time is $32,000 and change, so that person would be averaging 16 plus, but yes, some part-time people are earning less.
About how many?
It would be, almost entirely the summer seasonal hires that we do, and a portion of the school crossing guard population, but I couldn't venture a number at the moment.
I hope those wages are raised. I would like to just follow up. At the last meeting, I asked you guys how you feel about legalizing marijuana. I know Councilman Anderson wasn't there, so if I could just through the
I
chair.
have no problem with medical marijuana, I'm still wondering about recreation.
I was unable to make it to the event yesterday in Trenton. Was any of the council members able to make it?
I was in attendance.
Great.
It was very informative, but it still needs a lot of questions, within the people that were giving the seminar. So I think the dialogue is good, but there still needs to be a lot of information put out there before anybody can make a decision on the recreational use. And the medicinal, they're trying to expand it vastly, but there's also a lot of issues with that because it's a lot to get into now, but there's a lot of information floating on there, and I think a lot of us need to be more involved in getting it.
Great. Glad to hear you were there. I also brought this up at the last meeting. The city was fined over $300,000 for covering up the problems with the drinking water years ago. Has that fine been paid? Is there any progress on the negotiations?
Any progress?
Status remains the same as we reported last meeting.
Okay. Does the council have any response to the criminal charges filed against the New Brunswick police officer for aggravated assault and riot? Officer Anthony Jones? No comment. Wow. I'm disappointed. I think this is a time when leaders should be stepping up to say this is unacceptable, and I think this also shines a light on the problems with our internal affairs system, because this guy was suspended with pay at first, and until the criminal charges came, and they didn't come from New Brunswick, they came from the county. I think that the internal affairs system allows people to get away with this type of thing and not be held accountable because their name is not published, their name is not made public, and I already talked about that at the last meeting. So,
Do you believe in due process?
of course.
Okay. I'm just saying, somebody's in charge, that doesn't mean they're one way or the other. If we give a personal opinion, we're inflicting our opinion onto a case that hasn't been adjudicated yet. I think it's in the initial stages. So everybody's entitled to due process. So that's why we're not commenting on it.
Okay, the mayor commented.
It's a different body, that's his prerogative.
Okay, and I'm saying as leaders, you ought to comment, you ought to have an opinion. But I'll move on. Does the county government pay any payment in lieu of taxes for the land they own in New Brunswick?
I don't believe so. They make a contribution towards the ambulance service that is provided by the hospitals, but I can't think of another form of revenue from the county at the moment.
Okay. Tonight you adopted a agreement to allow a private developer to avoid paying regular taxes and instead make a pilot payment. Can you tell me why you adopted that tonight?
That was on first reading.
Yes, sir.
We're not going to discuss anything on first reading.
So you won't even explain why you voted in favor of it tonight?
We are still consistent, but we're not going to discuss anything on first reading.
Right, and that's based on what again?
I believe we discussed this before, that we're not, we will discuss it on second reading.
Right, okay. So, again, a chance for the city to be accountable about the vote that was just taken tonight. You talked about the rent receipts ordinance that you voted on tonight.
I was just making them, actually, I was making them aware that we had it. I didn't know if they were aware that we had it. I didn't discuss the intricacies of the whole ordinance.
Okay, so will 90 New Street have any affordable housing?
That's on first reading. I mean, if you want to use your time to ask that, that's on first reading.
Okay, what good is 90 New Street for New Brunswick? Why did you adopt this ordinance? It's a fair question.
I don't think it was adopted. On the first reading.
It was adopted on first reading, or
It allows it to go to a second. At that point in time, you can do it or not. That's the way it works.
so why did you vote to schedule a hearing for a second reading?
Give it a chance. You give everything a chance.
Give everything a chance, okay. Well, I'll hold you accountable for that one here. Moving on to the Housing Authority. They have a $4.1 million deficit according to their budget. I've asked the Housing Authority about this. Just for the record, Councilwoman Escobar, we've gotten no response from Mr. Clark yet, correct?
As far as to the best of my knowledge.
Okay. So, just for the record, I went to their meeting. I asked politely at the meeting, was told, we won't answer it, put it in writing. I put it in writing, here we are almost a month later, nothing. So I hope that, Councilwoman, you'll attend the next meeting, and together we can get those answers. I did get some answers, though, from an open public records request. It raises severe concerns about the legal fees that the Housing Authority is wasting our taxpayer money on. So their budget, if you look at their budget, page 16 of the budget, says $18,000 for all of the legal fees. Well, in 2016, one firm, Manfredi and Policchio, charged the authority $77,810. In 2017, they charged the authority $72,445. They have a fiscal year system, so actually for the most recent fiscal year, it was over $98,000 that this one firm charged. That's not counting what the Lentz firm charged or what other lawyers may have charged. So that's more than 5 times what they budgeted, yet they budgeted the same $18,000 in that budget this year. Is there any explanation for this? What good is a budget if you don't follow it? And I've been seeking it, right? So you'll seek it with me.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Just one last quick point. I hope that Mr. Woldley's attorney is not being paid for by the taxpayers, because I know he hired a criminal defense attorney, Benedict and Altman, and that better not be part of that. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Thank you. I just have to wait till they vote for 505. Danielle Moore. First, I'd like to start off with giving the fire department a great job for the weekend where they saved that beautiful house with 5 speed and good work on Stephen Street this week. Good job. I would like to, didn't get a chance to finish at the last meeting about 2 big situations with the city. That's with Livingston Avenue. It was mentioned after I told you the woman got hit by a car on the corner of Stanford and Livingston Avenue due to where it wasn't involved with speed. But like I said, the man wasn't at fault, the driver wasn't at fault, the woman is at fault. The fault is that you see that we were talking about the lights are too dull starting from Sanford Street going up towards Fruitown. And it was mentioned that it's possible that the bulbs can be replaced. Can you please tell me, is that going to be done or not?
Yeah, we have an update on that.
Please, the council, immediately after the last meeting, had to take a drive down Livingston Avenue. The only street light that I noticed that evening was the light Livingston on would be the direction heading into town between Comstock and Hale. That was a bowl that was not fully illuminated, it was dim. There was another light in front of the synagogue, in which that pole actually had two lights on it. One was lit, one wasn't. The one that was lit was over the sidewalk. Those have both been reported to public service from the mayor's office. To my understanding, both of those have been replaced or repaired. But specific to the balance of the other ones, that's going to just be an ongoing request of public service. They don't typically change bulbs if they're still lit, but we will attempt to continue our request to brighten bulbs.
Well, yes, due to where I know you should be able to see, due to where the white dove bulbs, like I said, it's very dark in the area compared to the bright orange lights where, like I said, I didn't get a chance to show you where I did it on my phone the night of where the woman got hit by a car while you couldn't even see the woman laying in the road. Where they picked her up and brought her to the side to show you how dark it is. So please, I hope you do think about changing. If you would like to, like I said, see the woman laying in the road, I have it on my phone here to show that, wow, those lights are dull. The white ones, please, I hope you do change them to the orange ones and make it a lot brighter for Livingston Avenue to make it safer at night. I have another question for Livingston Avenue as far as I realize a lot of the lights that are being changed. Why is it now that it says, it will only say walk when you press the button? No matter when the light changes, it all still says don't walk, and it's confusing with a lot of pedestrians as far as our kids going across the street. Why is it that it only says walk if you press the button? Normally, when the light turns green, it should go to walk automatically.
So it says walk or it doesn't? It says don't walk.
It just continues to say don't walk. So please, I noticed that's being changed with a lot of lights now. And my main concern, like I said, that's Livingston Avenue with our kids crossing. It only say walk if you press the button, and a lot of the buttons don't even work. For instance, if the light is green and they said don't walk at all times, I won't know, will I have time to cross the street to get to the other side or not, due to where it never says walk.
I don't know, we'll take a look at that. Okay.
There are the county's lights out there, and they prefer to use a pedestrian-activated system where the pedestrian has to push the button. I have a lot of arguments with the county engineering people over that type of system that they use. It should be a system that, like Ms. Moore states, when the light changes, it goes and you get the white light with the person walking. I've experienced the same thing as Ms. Moore numerous times. If you, even before the light changes, if you don't hit the pedestrian button soon enough, the light cycles into its next system, and the person, the white walking guy, does not come up. You don't know what to do. It's I think it's a poorly designed system. We've had a lot of discussions trying to make it a more pedestrian-friendly system, and I think as part of the road diet, we want to try and go to a automatically activated system to do that, so that you don't encounter that, because it is very confusing. I know exactly what Ms. Moore is talking about. I experience it myself all the time, and I'm familiar with what these systems are, and they are still very confusing to figure out. And it's not just Middlesex County that does it. A lot of traffic engineers around the country use that system, but for the pedestrian, it is confusing. Thank you. So I hope the city does look into speaking up to the county about it, because actually, like I said, it's not just Livingston Avenue, but due to where you have schools, the schools right there on Livingston Avenue. I hope you will look into speaking up to the county about, okay, at least when the light changes green, you can walk and tell how much time you have to cross Livingston Avenue. Thank you.
Or you could go also to the freeholders meeting and make them aware as a resident, and that's an issue that you have been experiences, and bring it, that would be another support to the argument that the city already has been making, that this is a challenge that the city will be saying.
And so you said this is in
The freeholders, right across the street, the meetings, it's just as ours, the county meetings, and then the ones you would go on and express that also that concern, because that's a valid.
Okay, thank you. And then also getting back to a situation with crossing guards where I didn't get a chance, where I hope the city does time to raise the price where, like I said, to get more people out there. Come on, $12.50 an hour. Well, I know you did raise that in a certain amount of time, but wow, to risk your life, how many crossing guards would you be able to tell me that's gotten hit within the past 3 months that the city doesn't know about?
One.
Yes.
One crossing guard.
One crossing guard?
At Roosevelt School.
Roosevelt?
By Roosevelt School.
And so then, where I can't confirm, but I will ask, crossing guard wasn't hit recently by Somerset and Lewis?
Not that I'm aware of, how recently?
And like I said, I can't confirm it, but I had got the word that within the past 2 to 3 weeks that someone was hit over there.
I'll try.
But like I said, I hope you do time to raise the price where get more people out there. I realize that you are very low on, which I will be bringing up next month to show how many more spots you need crossing guards for, due to where it's like the bus drivers are taking responsibility in crossing our kids, which I will provide you with pictures of that next month, due to where you have plenty, even though Paul Robeson School is closed, but you still have major bus stop there, that the bus driver has to open their door to cross a child every time they go to cross the street. Like I said, I will provide you with the evidence but please, come on. Time to get more crossing guards out there where you have some of the best, rushing down from one job to cover you for the next job, due to where you don't have enough crossing guards.
Are people, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say, I don't know who hires, are people applying for the jobs, or they're not applying?
They're applying all the time.
Yeah, we have a few applications in now, people going through training. And at present, there's 3 locations that don't have crossing guards. And the new application will rectify that.
So, well, I'm not going to mention name, but by what I was told, that with crossing guards, that's how they're applying for the applications, and then once they see how the job is like, then that's when they refuse to go to the job.
Thank you.
I haven't heard that as a problem, and I would think it's a little strange to apply for a job not knowing what you're going to get paid and what you're expected to do. But I have not heard that we're having problems filling positions, and every time the police department proposes a new hire, crosses my desk, I have not seen that be a problem yet.
Oh, well, like I said, it was your officer that told me, but I'm not going to take it further with that. But, and also, how come you, what is the situation when you get hit on the job? Due to where, once the man got hit on the job, you refused to pay him?
What do you mean we refuse to pay him?
Where, after he got hit by the car on Livingston Avenue, and then he put in, that he was hurt due to where he was refused to be paid. It had to be a situation. Are you telling me the city will not pay a person to get hit on the job?
No, I would never tell you that. I would never tell you that a city employee would not be protected if they got hurt on the job.
So that's not a big situation with that?
Is that a big situation? I think the insurance that the city pays for in the form of workers' compensation insurance would protect that employee.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else from the public? Seeing none, motion to adjourn.
Second. Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Egan. Yes. Councilmember Escobar. Yes. Councilmember Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council President Fleming.
Yes.